Chapter 13, Day 2. Talent opens doors, character keeps you there. Welcome back to another episode of JV Matters, where we talk about football. I'm your host, Coach Lowry, where we're going to go ahead and continue our conversation on talent and character. One of the biggest myths in football is that talent is everything. Well, it's not. Now, talent is important, don't get me wrong. I'd be foolish not to say it isn't. Speed matters, strength matters, size matters, athletic ability matters. But after coaching for more than 20 years, I can tell you this with complete confidence. Talent will get you noticed. Character, however, will determine how far you go. Talent will get the coach's ears to perk up. Character will get the coach's ears to stay up. I've coached players who have walked onto the field with all the natural ability in the world. Coaches are like, wow, what have we got here? This is great. That kid is going to be it. That one's going to push us over the top. They were bigger than everyone else. They were faster than everyone else. They were stronger than everyone else. People assumed they were destined for greatness. And sometimes they were. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes they weren't. Why? Because they relied on talent instead of developing their character. They thought yesterday's success would carry them through today's practice. They expected ability to make up for lack of preparation. Some kids today think that just walking on the field that they're it. I've had kids like that almost every year. This year, not so much. This year, I actually have a good group of kids that none of them are like that. They've checked their attitudes. Eventually, football catches up with players like that, however. Because every level of the game gets harder. At some point, everyone is talented. The difference becomes who is willing to outwork everyone else. At some point, coaches start to look at character instead of talent. Then there are the players who don't stand out on day one. Those are the undersized players. They're not the fastest. They're not even the players that start during the season at all. They're never the starters. But every day they improve. Every day they're asking questions. Every day they're staying after practice, running that extra route, trying to read defenses, talking to coaches. Every day they find one more thing they can do better. By the end of the season, those players often become the ones everyone is talking about. Not because they suddenly became the most talented players, of course not, but because they became the most committed players. They realized what they needed to do and they did it. They knew what needed to be done and they did it. They didn't wait to be told. They knew they had, in order for them to get on the field, they knew what they had to be done. I've always told my players this: your talent is a gift. Your work ethic is a choice. You can't control how tall you are. You can't control your genetics, but you can control your attitude. You can control your preparation. You can control your effort. And those things matter more than most young athletes realize. As coaches, we notice effort. We notice the hustle between drills. We notice who encourages teammates. We notice who listens when players are being coached. We have drills going on right now. I notice who's hustling between drills, who's running from one drill to the next, who's taking advantage of one coach versus the next. I see that all the time. Oh, he's not a varsity coach. We don't have to hustle. We know that coach. We know the difference. Little do they realize they're still being watched. We notice who takes responsibility after making a mistake. I have a few players right now who have had the talent, but they also have character. And sometimes that is even hard to find when you have them both in the same person. That's a gem. Those things build trust. Those things build leaders. Those are tomorrow's leaders for your team. The one who has the character. And those things also often separate players long after talent is leveled out. So one of my favorite players wasn't the most gifted player or athlete that I noticed. If you look at him getting off the bus, you probably wouldn't even notice that he was picked as one of our leaders. But every day he came to work, ready to work. He came to practice. He never complained. He's one of those players that always accepted coaching. He earned the respect of the teammates. He always encouraged his teammates. Doesn't mean he was a starter. You don't have to be a starter to be respected by your teammates. By the end of the season, he wasn't just one of the best players. He's one of the leaders of our program. That didn't happen because he was talent or most talented players. It happened because of his character. Football has a way of revealing who they really are. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're losing, when things aren't going your way, football has a way of revealing character. Your character shows when all those things are happening. That's why I love this game. That's why loyalty shows. That's why coaches with loyalty shows and loves this game. It doesn't just measure athletic ability, it reveals integrity. It reveals discipline. It reveals resilience. Eventually, every player's athletic career comes to an end. Some players on varsity right now that are playing, this is the last year they'll put on that uniform. They'll never ever again put on that uniform. In December will be their last time putting on that uniform. Very few players will play football beyond high school, and even fewer will play in college. They might get to college and they'll put it on a few times, and then they may get cut once they get into college. They may get an injury, or the coach may say, okay, you're done. You're not what we were looking for. Just because they get picked to go to college doesn't mean they make the team. That's when their character will show. A tiny percentage will even play professional football. So even though they make it through college, doesn't mean they're going to play beyond college. Character will move you to the next level. But every single player will spend the rest of their life relying on the habits and character developed as a young man. That's why this lesson matters a lot. Matters more than they can realize. Parents often ask me, Coach, what do you want my son to get out of football? And of course, I want him to become a better player. But more importantly, I want him to become the kind of man people can trust. Someone who works hard, keeps his word, shows up prepared, treats people with respect, because those qualities will open doors in life more than a 40-yard dash will ever do. So if you're listening today and you're blessed with talent, be thankful, because many are not blessed with that talent. But don't depend on it. Develop your character with the same determination you developed your athletic ability, because talent may open the door for you first, but character will keep those doors open so you can keep walking through the next door. So in closing, when people look back on your football career, they might remember a big play here and there, but they'll never forget the kind of teammate you were, the kind of leader you became, and the kind of man you chose to be. Because talent may impress people, character leaves legacies. That's the kind of player every coach hopes to develop. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this series, please subscribe to JV Matters and leave a comment below, as well as hit the like and share button below. And I'll catch you on the next episode of JV Matters. You all have an outstanding day.